The secret of a quiet mind. Tired, even when you didn't really do much all day. Not the kind of tired that comes from physical work, but the kind that comes from a mind that never stops talking. You lie in bed, but sleep refuses to come. Your brain keeps replaying old mistakes, old conversations, and moments you wish you could change. Then suddenly it jumps into the future and starts worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. Bills, work, family, tomorrow. Your body is resting, but your mind is running like a machine that never switches off. Slowly, it begins to feel like you are trapped inside your own thoughts. If that feeling sounds familiar to you, then this story might feel very close to your heart. This is the story of a young man named Ethan. From the outside, Ethan's life looked completely normal. He had a small job, a simple apartment, and a routine just like everyone else. But inside his mind, things were very different. His thoughts never stopped. Every night when he tried to sleep, his brain would start racing. He kept replaying old arguments in his head. He kept thinking about mistakes he had made years ago. Then his mind would suddenly jump into the future. What if he lost his job? What if he ran out of money? What if something bad happened to his family? Little by little, his peace began to disappear. Sleeping became harder. Food didn't taste the same anymore. Even sitting quietly felt uncomfortable. It felt like there was a loud machine running inside his head that simply refused to shut down. One day, his friend noticed how exhausted he looked and said, "Man, you should go talk to that old monk who lives up in the mountains. People say he helps people calm their minds." Ethan didn't really believe it at first. He thought to himself, how could some stranger possibly understand what was going on inside his mind? But the weight in his chest had become so heavy that he decided to give it a try. The next morning, he started walking toward the mountains. After hours of hiking, he finally reached a small temple surrounded by trees and the soft sound of flowing water. Outside the temple sat an old monk. His face carried a kind of calm that Ethan hadn't felt in years. Ethan walked up to him and said, "Sir, my mind never stops. I keep thinking about the past and worrying about the future. I just want some peace." The monk didn't answer right away. Instead, he went inside the temple and came back holding a cup filled to the very top with water. He handed the cup to Ethan and said, "Take this cup to the river and bring it back. But listen carefully. If even one drop spills, you must start over." Ethan held the cup carefully and began walking. The path was rocky and a light wind was blowing. He focused on every single step so the water wouldn't spill. Along the path, children were playing. Birds were singing in the trees. People were walking by. But Ethan barely noticed any of it. His entire attention was fixed on the cup in his hands. After some time, he reached the river. Then he slowly turned around and walked all the way back to the temple. When he returned, not a single drop had spilled. The monk smiled and asked him, "Did you hear the birds along the path?" Ethan shook his head. "No." The monk asked again, "Did you see the beautiful sunset behind the mountains?" Ethan replied, "No, I didn't notice." Then the monk asked one final question. "While you were walking, did you think about your past mistakes or worry about your future?" Ethan paused for a moment and then quietly said, "No, my mind was focused on the cup." The monk smiled gently and said, "That is the secret of peace. When your attention is fully in the present moment, the past cannot hurt you and the future cannot scare you. In fact, your mind becomes noisy because it keeps wandering everywhere. But when you bring your focus back to a single moment, the noise slowly fades away. At that moment, something clicked inside Ethan's mind. The problem wasn't his life. The problem was his uncontrolled thoughts. From that day on, whenever his mind started drifting into the past or the future, he reminded himself of the cup of water and brought his attention back to the present moment. Little by little, the noise inside his mind began to fade. And for the first time in years, he felt real peace. Because peace was never somewhere far away. It had always been inside him, just buried under the noise of his thoughts. And maybe the greatest secret of life is this: peace is not waiting for you in the future. It is hidden in the moment you are living right now.